So thank you for joining us again, John, for this industry insights. We're really looking forward to hear about the public relations industry and how students can get connected with you.
Love it. Yes. Happy to be here.
Yes. So the first question, so I'd love to hear more about your current role, your employer right now, and what you do in that.
So my name's John Hartz, and I'm president at a firm called Sloane Company. We are a public relations firm based in New York. We have offices in some other places as well. I'm based out of Boston, and we have a couple other offices around the U.S. And we are a strategic communications firm. And so there's a lot of different kinds of PR firms. So what that means at a very high level is that we get mostly hired by companies. We're doing corporate PR, and they're coming to us to help tell stories around their biggest opportunities, some of the coolest things they're doing, the things that they're most excited about, and also to help protect their reputation. So helping them deal with challenges, issues that they may run into across the board. It's both sides of that. Okay. And there's a couple of different pieces to it. There's what we call corporate communications. So that's helping communicate around what a company's products and services are, around its financial performance. It can be around the leadership that the CEO or the people in the C-suite have, the kind of company, the culture that they're building, things like that. We also do investor relations for some of our clients. So that's talking more directly to the investment community in Wall Street about a publicly traded company's earnings and their financial activity. And we have a part of our business called special situations. So that's if a company is buying or selling something, or if they've run into an issue and they have to deal with a crisis, that's where that falls. And then the other part is we have a digital arm. So that's anything that relates to digital, social, paid online campaigns, a lot of creative development there in terms of videos and content, things like that. So that's at a very high level. Yeah. Important to know, we've been in business for like 25 years. This is our 25th year, actually. So that's pretty cool. And so we were founded in, I guess it was 1998. We have about 55 employees, which makes us like a middle-sized firm. Right. There's much, much bigger ones out there, and there's a lot of really smaller ones. So we're kind of like a little bit bigger than a boutique, but definitely not like a multinational company or anything like that. Our clients really tend to like that because it gives some very personalized attention. And clients that you would know, that viewers might recognize, we have a lot of names that you would know, like Panera Bread, IMAX, the movie company. We work with New York Life, which is the biggest life insurance company in America. Other clients include US Steel, big, huge steel maker. We've done a bunch of work over the years with Hertz, and we've done some work with McDonald's. And so really, those are the names you would know. And then names that you might not know are lots of other ones. There are companies that are in business to business world that are really big, but you might not really know as much about. Then there's a whole world of financial services companies like private equity firms and venture capital firms that we represent. And then a lot of young companies, not necessarily startups, but ones that haven't yet made their name and that are growing fast and have interesting things going on in all different parts of industry. It could be fintech, financial technology, medical or healthcare technology, and lots of other areas too. So we run the gamut across all that stuff here. So I came here when the firm was a startup, and I've worked here for about 23 years or something like that now. And right out of Holy Cross, a year after Holy Cross. So I had a year abroad, and then I was here. This is where I started, and I've been here ever since.
And so going on to the next question, can you talk more about current trends you're seeing in your industry right now? So I know you touched on 3 different sections that you guys deal with, but just different things that you're seeing.
There's so many different things going on.
Yeah.
But every industry, I mean, I thought about this a little bit, every industry is touched by technology. So I'll get to that in a second. But maybe one of the biggest communications trends right now So a lot of what we're assigned and asked to do by our clients is to communicate externally.
Yeah.
So that's talking to producers so that a CEO gets interviewed on CNBC, or talking with writers for websites or publications across the board, from the New York Times to CNN to trade publications in a certain sector that you may never have thought of before, and everything in between. Podcasts, all that kind of stuff. But we also help our clients communicate internally. And that's a big thing. So more and more employee bases are very vocal, and they're concerned about their company's views on certain issues. They're really focused on their benefits and all the things, their wages and benefits and what they get paid. They want to know more about that. They want transparency. They're really focused on authenticity from their leaders. They want to know what's going on. And that's all really important. And so anything you communicate internally to your people at a company, to your employees, or to your students at a college, if it was that, it's external too, because anything you say can be published anywhere by anybody online. And so that's a really important thing to like really be aware of and think about. Internal is external. And again, like that gets to this whole point of being consistent and authentic and transparent. That's really not a big deal as long as what you're saying internally is the same thing you would say externally. And that's something that we work with our clients a lot on. So that's not as much on the technology side, but just on the world we live in. That's one. On the tech side, I'm sure everybody here has read about generative AI and things like Chat GPT and the new Bing search AI that they have that went crazy, and all the things like that are related to that. But this Chat GPT is unbelievable, and it can create content that's pretty good. And it's hard to tell sometimes that it's not written by a human being, and it's based on what human beings have written, but it's generated through this AI. And so I don't know yet how that fits in to anything. But what I do know is that it's gonna very much touch every industry and every field, and especially PR, because a lot of what we do relates to writing or helping to be a part of news content. And I think we're going to see news organizations use AI in new and different ways. We're going to see PR firms use it. It's going to definitely play out in social media in a big way, for good or for ill. Yeah, both probably. And so it's just early days. It may be a little bit scary, but also who knows what'll happen with it. And it's just something that we all need to be thinking about right now. Yeah. So those are two really big ones. I mean, a third one, this isn't so new, but companies know that they need to generate their own content. So having your owned your podcasts or much better social media than ever before. And this is even companies that are pretty typical, like banks that might have typically been pretty buttoned up and not really participate in that kind of thing. You'll see it more and more. And there's a few reasons for that. One is you get to own your own message more directly. Two is the field of journalism is under a lot of stress. It's changing a lot. And so sometimes there are fewer media outlets that can help cover your message or potentially write about it. And so being able to generate your own content through your own channels is another way to communicate with the people you need to touch.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So just to build off of that, so is that something within like the industry that you're helping your clients do, is to craft their own kind of like message and what they're trying to get out in their content?
Yeah, absolutely. We help our clients a lot with all kinds of content that they want to post on LinkedIn for us, because it's a business to business, or we're a corporate PR firm. LinkedIn is a really important channel for that. We also help clients craft bylined articles that then might run as like an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal or someplace like that, helping them think through what they want their message to be, how to communicate it, how to write it in a compelling way. So that's something we do all the time for our clients. Yeah.
And then for the third question, what skills do you find are necessary for success in this field? And is there anything that students can be doing now to prepare them for the field?
Yes, absolutely. So three big things I think there, but one, and it's a really great one for Holy Cross students, being able to read and write,
Yeah.
having that liberal arts background is super important.
Mhm.
While I know that generative AI is coming and there's different forms of writing, we're always going to need good writers, people who can be persuasive, who can make a point. Because we're also writing, in addition to writing for external audiences, we're writing a lot for our clients in terms of we might have to give them a strategy memo or a bunch of suggestions on how to present the story or how to deal with this issue, this crisis that they might be dealing with. And being able to do that in an organized and persuasive and clear way is super important. So you all Holy Cross students have learned how to do that at HC. And I think that's, I can't underestimate the value of that.
Yeah.
It's really important. But on the other hand, I would say it's, in terms of this field and in our experience, at least at our firm, it is important to get some internship experience in the field if you're looking to get started with it after graduation.
Yeah.
An internship or two is fine. That's all I'm talking about. Because it's really hard sometimes to teach someone completely from scratch, even if they're really smart and have a great education.
Right.
Having a little bit of a jump start in terms of what it is to work at a PR firm, what are some of the building blocks of the job, just having done it before a little bit is really important. We have an internship program every year. We have about 6 or 7 interns every year. It's in person, it's in New York at our offices. And it's been a great program. So anybody here who's not a senior can definitely, it's mostly juniors, or I guess rising juniors.
Yeah.
So it's worth considering if you want that kind of experience. So that's super important. And then at our firm, this isn't so much something you can prepare for, but being really intellectually curious is a great attribute, which I guess, I think that also comes with maybe a liberal arts education and going to a school like Holy Cross. Because what we have to do, at least in my job, is you might need to learn about an insurance company, and then you need to learn about a healthcare thing, and then you need to learn about some other completely different thing that has nothing to do with the first two. And it helps if you can get interested in it and you're just curious. You want to understand, like, how does this industry work? Why is this company successful or not? How do they make money? What kind of people are they hiring? Why? What will make their audiences resonate with what will make messaging resonate with their audiences? So that kind of intellectual curiosity is super important. And like I said, I don't think you can really train for it, but it comes with experiencing your education and it's super important in this field.
Yeah, those are amazing points. And I think it's really comforting too for Holy Cross students to feel like we have those tools, like that intellectual curiosity that you're talking about with the liberal arts and also with the internships too, like, finding those opportunities. I think that students can find comfort knowing that that's possible for them.
I completely think like, but that's why I'm saying the internship part is important because, even maybe 10 years ago, I don't think it would have been as important to say, at least I know at our firm, we might have hired more people at an entry level who had never, ever touched the career path. I never did anything like this until I started it, ever. That was a long time ago. But I think now, just given how competitive the job market has become and how demanding things have become, it seems like the pace has moved. The pace has quickened in the last couple of years. I think in part because of social media and technology and being able to do this kind of like stuff on Zoom. Like it just, everything moves really fast. And so it's very difficult to teach somebody just completely from scratch. Just having some experience will make your resume stand out. At least I know I lead a lot of our recruiting and hiring, and I know what we look for at that level. And if there's absolutely no experience, it's hard for us to make the case for someone, no matter how strong they are on the resume otherwise.
For the final question, just to wrap up, is there anything else that you find important that we haven't covered that you really want to share with students about this?
Definitely, you're going to want to start. My recommendation would be that you want to start in an agency because there's PR people in-house. It's called in-house. Inside companies, there's PR people at universities and colleges and sports teams, and all of them have that. But if you really want to get a good first experience in the field, I would definitely start at an agency, because you will get to touch and learn about a bunch of different clients. And you'll get to figure out, I like this part, I don't like this part. Maybe you'll even get introduced to a client that's in a field, an industry that you want to do later on. So I would just really recommend that versus going in-house, which can be a little bit more narrow. You can always do that a little bit later on. So I would definitely start with agency. And it can be a great career. It's been really good for me. You get to meet a lot of people and learn a ton about different companies and organizations. You get to really help them when they're having challenges or when they're really trying to figure something out. And that can be very gratifying. So it's worth considering.
Okay. Well, that brings us to the end. Thank you so much for your insight.
Sure.
For all the points that you shared with students.
Of course. It was my pleasure.